everyone, you're listening to the Tea with Tanya podcast, and I'm your host, Tanya Ambrose. I'm a public health professional by day and your average tea-loving millennial and content creator by night. My goal for this podcast is to share public health stories, self-love and wellness tips, to educate and empower, and to promote positive living. This podcast is here to serve you. Join me in the tea tasting room to see what I have brewing for you. Hey guys, welcome back to the Tea with Tanya podcast, and I'm your host Tanya, or as I like to say these days, welcome to the tea tasting room, because once you tune into this podcast, in the tea tasting room, we have different flavored teas in this world, so you can have different topics that we talk about, but we talk about personal development, wellness, women's health, maternal health, all these different things. But today's episode might be short, we shall see, because you guys know your girl can talk, but it's something that's been on my mind for a while now, and I haven't really, I don't have an outline. Usually when I record an episode, sometimes I have an outline of what I want to say, but this one, it's coming from the heart, it's coming from my head, whatever's in my head, because I usually have conversations with myself. Let me know if you guys do that, because sometimes I'm telling my bathroom, I love that place because it has heard so many different things from me. My bathroom or my car, and even the kitchen. I talk to myself all the time, but definitely the bathroom and the car, a lot of conversations really happen, with myself. But with this, it's been on my mind for a little bit because I realized I've been doing something quite often. I'm pretty sure I've been doing it for a while, but it just now dawned on me recently. So as you guys know, if you don't know, then you need to be following me on social media or go back and listen to previous podcasts. But I am the founder and CEO of a newly formed nonprofit organization. It's called Squad Life Cares. And when I say newly formed, we are almost operational or fully functioning, for about a year and a half, almost 2 years now. But even then, I'm a new founder, I'm a new entrepreneur, especially being a doula. You guys should know again that I am a doula. So, it's like building a business, building a nonprofit simultaneously. It is a lot. But the current theme, or the recurring theme that's been happening for me while I do this, is the fact that a lot of opportunities are presenting themselves, for both as a doula or maternal health advocate, and also as a founder of the nonprofit organization, where one of our goals is to, help end the stigma surrounding period and to promote menstrual health. And of course, give back to those in underserved communities, because these are things that, is important and near and dear to my heart. And also to make sure that we are providing health education, and education in general, but definitely health education. Because many of us, we see things on TV, but, or we do certain things. Oh, it's easy to even give back to somebody or to a community, but there's not an education aspect that is missing. So that's one of the main goals for my nonprofit organization, but I'll talk about that on another episode and give you guys more information. I can dedicate an episode towards that. But what I wanted to talk about in today's episode is more about playing small or shrinking ourselves, and also being prepared for what we ask for. So like I said, I don't have an outline. It's just come from my head, from the conversations that I've had with myself. And I want to talk about, first of all, shrinking yourself, or as we may call it, sometimes it can be maybe a little bit of imposter syndrome. I do have an episode about imposter syndrome in season 1, so you can check it out. But I do want to talk about playing small or shrinking. Now, guys, I went to school for public health, got my degree in public health. I've been volunteering with various organizations. I've taken a nonprofit class when I was getting my degree. I've enrolled in different classes to get different certificates, and of course, just researching, and bought many different resources, like from books, and read articles daily to keep me abreast of what is going on, and just so that I can learn. Because again, this nonprofit is just not, like we say back home, it's not a pian nonprofit, or as we say, it's just not a mediocre nonprofit. We don't do mediocre, in this world. Well, I don't, greatness is all I know. I'll tell you that right now. But with that being said, like I say, I know what I need to know as far as building a nonprofit. I still don't know everything. And, like I say, I'm a professional student because I like to learn. And I realize that, there are people who would come to me and ask me about, what does it take to run a nonprofit? Or how do you do X, Y, Z? Or how do you even balance, let's say, running your doula business, doing this, doing that? have a social media presence that I still think I don't even have as much as I need to, but that's besides the point. When people would ask me questions and I realized, I would answer, because one thing about me, I do like to help. It's it sometimes can be a flaw, if I can be honest, trying to help people. But at the end of the day, I truly believe my life's purpose is to be of service to others, no matter how big or small and whatever way it can be. That's really what I truly believe. But with that being said, I would have people come and ask me questions, and I would only give information and I would only give resources because, I wish somebody did that for me, or I wouldn't mind if someone did that. Or I have had people who have helped me in other ways. You know what I mean? So I remember having a conversation with someone recently, and we were talking about, again, my nonprofit. Because I'm just going to say this. I've been head, shoulders, knees, and toe deep with my nonprofit recently because, we're trying to get our program together. And like I said, check it to the next level. Last year was for me like a little trial and error, type of year where we saw what worked, what didn't work. But again, we're getting ready to elevate to another level right now. I can't wait for you guys to see that. But I remember that they asked me a question, and I remember I was talking, and I was like, oh, my little nonprofit, what do we know? Or, oh, it's just my nonprofit. Oh, I'm just going to say, oh, it's just me. And words really do mean things. Of course, we know that. Because I remember someone sent me an article a while back, and they were like, the little words that we use can sometimes minimize how we describe or talk to ourselves. Something as simple as, oh, I'm just let's say, a nonprofit founder, or I'm just a doula, or I'm just an accountant. Whatever it is, the just before the word or whatever you are, can sometimes be used to minimize what is it you do, or what is it that you're capable of doing. And ever since I read the article, I try to be mindful of how I speak to myself. I'm not just a nonprofit founder. I am a nonprofit founder, a badass nonprofit founder, an ambitious nonprofit founder, if that makes sense. And it's been on my heart daily, because when I said that to the person I was talking to, in that very moment, I was like, wow, Tanya, here you go, minimizing yourself when you, one, give yourself credit for creating a nonprofit or launching a nonprofit during a pandemic and have had success. You know what I mean? Give yourself credit for getting your doula training during a pandemic and have had success, and you're building your clientele, you're working on your childbirth education certification, these different things. And it's just like, here I go at the time, minimizing myself. Oh, somebody want to talk to me. I say, what do I know? I'm just a person, let's say, with a bachelor's degree. I just kept saying, I'm just, and I wasn't saying it in a positive light. I was saying it, in a sense for it to be negative. So I want for you guys to be mindful that, be careful how we're talking about ourselves with the oh, I'm just this, or who am I, or we have a smaller nonprofit. And it's also easy to get caught up in what you see others are doing. Like my sister said to me the other day, T, you have your vision. You have literally everything written down from A to B in your document, and even on your book. So yeah, I know what I'm doing. We know what we're about. And she's like, sometimes you want to run from or jump from the letter A to G without filling in B, C, D, E, F. I was like, okay, Chloe, you better drag me. But that was really and truly the truth, if I can be honest. And I was trying to, because you have all these brilliant ideas, but then the work that goes on behind the scenes before I can get from A to G, or even A to Z, let's say, it takes a lot of work and dedication. You know what I mean? So that's something that I had to really and truly gather myself about, because I kept minimizing what I'm doing or what I've done and what I want to do. And it's like, no, I've put in the work. You guys listen here, you've put in the work to get to where you are, whatever career you're doing, whatever business you're starting. Even if, let's say, you're a content creator, because I am a content creator too, you've put in the work to get to X amount of followers or to build a particular type of community. That's work. And instead of just say, oh, I'm just a YouTuber, oh, I'm just a podcaster, I'm just a blogger, take that out, because that's just not, it's no easy feat. Do what is it that you do, right? So that's from like shrinking or minimizing ourselves. Then I want to talk about being prepared for what we ask for. So I know I've told you guys, I'm talking about, oh, I'm just a CEO and founder of a nonprofit. I'm just this. What do I know? I have this level of degree or education. I have this level of experience. When in fact, I have the freaking experience that I know what I'm talking about. And I found myself sometimes, if I realize, or if I think to myself, and this could be a self-confidence thing too, I'm still trying to figure that out. I'll talk about that in therapy. But if I come across someone who I think may be somewhat more intelligent than I am, and I don't know how that's sounding to you guys, but you know what? Of course, you guys can let me know. But if I think that somebody's much more smarter than I am, or they have, let's say, no, not smarter, like have more experience than I am. Because let me tell you, there's some people out here, guys, that they'll talk to you and they'll make you think that they know everything and what they're saying is right. Because I've come across people. The funny thing is that they're speaking with such conviction. You hear me? And what they're saying sometimes is wrong. Or it's not, it's not, may not be 100% wrong, but part of what they're saying is wrong. And sometimes I'm looking at, okay, do I want to correct them? Because you can tell that person is confident, they have this ego. So if I were to correct them now, it would be a situation where it would be a bruise to the ego. So I have been dishonest in moments when I'm just like nodding, okay, what they're saying, when in fact what they're saying is wrong. Even if somebody's going against me, when, instead of standing my ground, sticking up for myself, or letting that person know that, hey, I know what I'm talking about. This is what it is. Sometimes I don't. And like I said, again, that could be a me problem. I'm sure some of you can relate. Instead of always speaking up for what you know is right, or what you know is better than what the person is saying, you let them have it. And again, like I said, I found myself doing that, and I have to check myself. I am doing better at that. I'm like, I'm not going to be out here being afraid to speak up. That's one thing. The other thing, like I said, is praying or being prepared for what you ask for. And the reason why that came on my heart as well, I'm trying to put in this episode. I'm going to try to wrap it up. But like I say, I recently did my doula training in the beginning of the pandemic. I'm like, okay, I need this amount of clients. I want to have this. I want to have that. I didn't get my first client till like months after my doula training. I know I'm like, okay, I'm a boss. I'm a pro. I know how to be, support a mother or a family during labor, not just, oh yeah, let me go to the hospital or to the home or to their birth center. No, it's all about preparing and giving that childbirth education and these different things. And it's like, I was sad for one moment when I wasn't getting the amount of clients that I needed, but I realized, one, I wasn't putting in the work to attract clients. I was not putting in the work, and I have been doing that, and I have seen that reward. That's one thing. But like I told you guys earlier, I'm head, shoulders, knees, and toes deep in my nonprofit building. Because like I said, I'm really trying to take this nonprofit to a level. Like, I'm trying to take it global. Everything takes time. We're only in year 2, but I'm trying to take it global. That's my long-term goal. But I remember, looking at other organizations, or looking at organizations similar to what we're doing and wanting to partner with them, looking at, donors and these different things, and feeling discouraged because we weren't getting the donors that I wanted us to get, or thinking that it was going to be impossible to partner with certain nonprofit organizations. Guys, let me tell you this. I'm a praying woman. I love to pray. Like, I'll pray randomly any time of the day. And I'm a woman of faith. I really do keep the faith no matter how challenging life can get. And recently, I followed someone on Instagram, and they reached out to us. They followed me back, and then they ended up following. Because, again, this is why a bio is important when you have your social media. But anyway, they ended up following my nonprofit organization, and right away sent us a message, and they were able to connect us to an organization here where I'm based in Atlanta. And, that to me, in that moment, showed me that, Tanya, all you got to do is be patient, keep the faith, and things are going to happen when it's supposed to happen. Because my life's motto is nothing happens before it's time. But I'll be honest, sometimes I forget about that motto. Sometimes I'm like, I need it to happen now, no, 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 no. I need for us to be successful now. I need for us to be big now. And I'm like, Tanya, are you even ready or prepared for what you want, for what you're asking for? Let's be honest here, guys. Because many of us, we want this job, we want that job, I want X amount of dollars a year, whatever, I want this car, whatever it is. Because, we've been taught, or I don't know if you've been taught, but we've been told, to be specific with what we're praying for, what we're asking for. But really and truly, are we really and truly ready for what we're asking for? And, when that moment happened, I was like, wow, the things that I've prayed for, or been asking, I've been wanting, a few years back, everything is now coming to fruition slowly but surely. Because I'm sure many of you, if you're like, you pray for something and you expect for it to happen, let's say right away or very, very soon. And some of these prayers that have been answered for me is our prayers that I would have prayed for, things that I've prayed for years ago. But I'm not the most patient person, but I was patient, and I kept the faith. And things are essentially looking up for my nonprofit. And again, that's something that I wrote down in my manifestation book and prayed for. And here I am. But still, at the time I said, sometimes, you know what? You're not even 100% ready for what you've been asking for. Let's be honest. So let's try to focus on while things are small, let's try to focus on the small things now so that you can be better prepared and equipped for when the big things come to you. So that's really the essence of the podcast is, stop shrinking yourself for people. Let me just say that. I'm probably leaving you guys with 5 tips, but stop shrinking yourself for people because nobody more than you. As we say back home, nobody more than you. We are created equally, yes, but don't shrink yourself. If just stand firm in who you are and believe in yourself and believe in what you know and, believe in your self-worth, definitely. And keep an open mind and be prepared for what you're asking for. If something isn't happening for you in a time frame that you want for it to happen, don't give up. Keep pushing. Keep working towards the goal, and it is going to happen in due time. Because again, nothing happens before it's time. But one thing I want to say, when it comes to you shrinking yourself or just thinking that you're less than in a sense, just become more aware of how you're talking to yourself. Become aware of negative self-talk because that's really key. Like again, I'm telling my sisters, words are powerful because I'm seeing that, when you think negative or you say negative things, it doesn't impact your life in a positive way. When you speak life or speak positivity over your life, you see a difference. Like they say, life and death is in the power of the tongue, and that's something that I truly believe. I'm not gonna be here, oh yeah, Tanya, you're so positive all the time. I'm not. I have my moments because I am human. I have my moments because I'm human, but definitely be aware of how you talk to yourself. Try to speak positive things over your life. If you find yourself having a negative thought, maybe try to figure out and analyze, okay, why did I have this thought? Why was my go-to a negative thought before something positive? That's something you should consider. So definitely be aware of how you speak to yourself or of negative self-talk. Then if you find yourself like speaking negative things over your life, just change it with something positive. Like, I downloaded this I think it's an I am app on the iPhone, and I get notifications ever so often, and it comes in and gives me that affirmations. Sometimes I make affirmations personal to myself, stick them around in my bathroom mirror or just have them in my notes or in my book because I have a little notebook where I write everything in. And I go back and repeat those positive affirmations. I know it may sound cliche, but for me, it really does help. Like, like we gas everybody, so why can't we gas ourselves up? Put it that way. You know what I mean? Think about the outside influences that you may have. Who are these people that are influencing your life? Like for me, like again, I'm shrinking myself to appease others, not standing firm in what I know who I am because I'm trying to please them. Are these people good for me? I'm not saying to cut people out because I know some of you are okay. Oh, I'm going to cut this person out. I'm not going to say you're going to cut the person out, but reevaluate. Um, the impact they may have on your life. So think about the outside influences that you have. Are they positive? Are they negative? How can you change that? If you need to keep somebody at arm's length, then by all means keep them that way. They can only have a certain level of access to you, if that makes sense. And think about the present. Guys, let me tell you, focus on the present because me, sometimes I'm in the present and sometimes I'm all the way in the future. I'm like, first of all, Tanya, you don't even know what the next minute is gonna hold. You do not hold the future. I do not hold the future. So let's try to focus on the present because if we start thinking about the future too much, it can become overwhelming, it can become frustrating, and then the next thing you just stress for no reason, and then you become sad, and it's just a whole other cycle of why am I sad? Because now you're thinking too far. Now I'm not saying to think about your future because again we are human. We all want the best for our lives, but try to focus on the present now and be more mindful and appreciate what is it that you've done in this moment. Like for me, I'm like, oh, here I am almost 2 years in with my nonprofit and I didn't even stop, as I said, to smell the coffee or smell the flowers. I didn't even stop to even give myself praise for even doing that. I didn't even, let's say, stop to just appreciate what I've done and what I'm currently doing. Because I was so focused on what the next 5 years is going to look like. So, definitely do that. And one thing I want to say, especially when it comes to shrinking yourself or even asking for what you want, treat yourself like how you would treat somebody else that you love. Because to me, let me tell you, I'll go above and beyond for those that I care about. And then sometimes I end up neglecting myself. How's that going to work? Like somebody once wife told me, you're so busy trying to take care of everybody, you're doing for everybody that you're not even taking care of yourself and you're leaving yourself out. So definitely, when it comes to just be careful of how we are shrinking ourselves around people and keep in mind to be patient and be prepared for what we ask for. Beware of how you speak to yourself. Beware of the negative self-talk. Definitely replace those same negative self-thoughts with positive affirmations. Get rid of outside influences that are not good for you or not beneficial for you. Definitely focus on the present, because let me tell you, thinking too far into the future, that's very stressful. And treat yourself like how you would treat anybody else, or how you would like to be treated, how you would like people to treat you. Try and treat yourself that way. You know what I mean? Anyway, I said it was going to be a short episode, but here I go, one in my mouth. Like I said, I don't have any outline or anything. It was just on my heart to definitely let's show up for ourselves big. Don't shrink ourselves for who we are. You are capable of anything. You are just as smart as the other person in the room that you're in. You understand me? And of course, try to be patient and be ready, or do the work, so that when all what you're asking for comes to you, you will be prepared. You don't want to be caught off guard with, oh, I want this, I want that. Oh, be specific in my prayer. Lord, I want this, I want that. And then when you're granted it, no, you're not even 100% ready. So just be mindful to be more patient with what you have, and definitely do not shrink ourselves. Do not shrink yourself. And guys, that's the end of this episode. Like I said, thank you guys for tuning in every day and leave your feedback. Well, I need you guys to definitely go to Apple Podcasts and rate and review this podcast so you can help your girl out. And definitely share. You can follow me on the Tea with Tanya podcast Instagram. Tag me in your stories when you listen to this. And of course, feel free to DM me your opinion, because that I really do value your opinion. My podcast wouldn't be functioning without you guys. So definitely thank you. And I'll see you on the next episode.